Oh, you guys, don't mind me. I just need to take a second to sit down here in my little spot where I have to sit for intros. I also need a quick spot of tea. Hello everyone, welcome back to Royalty Soaps. Yes, surprise, hooray, Sunday. I don't normally upload on Sundays. Today's a bonus video. And as you probably can tell from the title, we have merch for you guys. We have developed scrapey merch. This has been such a long process. My designer actually had the complete design ready for me in April, but I wanted to make sure that whoever I did the sourcing for my t-shirts and for these mugs here had the quality that I desired and that something that I could feel comfortable with putting my name on. And I also wanted to have full control over pricing, because one of the things that really makes me sad sometimes about YouTuber merchandising is that it's so expensive. And I'm not gonna pay $35 for a t-shirt, and I don't think you should either. But once I got all that figured out, now it's finally time to launch, and this is surprise number 2 for June, and today is technically July 1st. I'm sorry this was so late. I'm blaming this kind of on moving and stuff. I'll give you a little bit of background story. So my designer that I used to do this is actually Caroline, my best friend. It's her older brother, Parker. I was actually friends with Parker and Caroline's other brother, Luke, before Caroline was even in the picture, and I was 3 and they were 4 and 5-ish. I've grown up with these kids. These are my people. I implicitly trust them. They are more like cousins to me than anything else. And Parker was always just really into art and design, and he was always doodling on something or creating some sort of video. He's the one who actually introduced me to YouTube way back in the day. I must have been 10 or 11 years old. The first YouTube video I ever watched was because of Parker, and he uploaded videos that we made called Dollhouse Tragedies. I've already talked about that on this channel. Anyway, he's the whole reason why I even knew YouTube exists. So whenever you guys started demanding merch, and it started to be something I started taking very seriously and wanted to pursue, I knew that he was the person who knows my heart and knows my vision and knows what I like, so I couldn't hire anyone but him. And it kind of feels like I'm keeping all the work in the family. So we have Parker to thank for all of our absolutely adorable designs. I mean, hello, actually scraping a bucket with bubbles. It's, oh my gosh, it's just everything. And I have to rep him a little bit. He has a Facebook page and an Instagram and a Twitch where he does animation live streams. Very entertaining, and he talks about stuff that he likes the whole time. I love it. I'm leaving all of his social media down below, and if you are a brand or a YouTuber and you need design work done, he is for hire. Go hire him and tell him that I sent you over. As you can see, I'm wearing the little pink design here for the Scrapey t-shirt. We have white as well and a few gray. We have them in kids and women's and unisex, and then of course we also have mugs available right now as well. In the future I may look into expanding into some other colors, and I might have Parker do some more designs of things that you guys would like to see. So if you have more merch ideas for designs or anything like that, let me know down in the comments below. I'm so sorry that this intro is so long. Today's soap is Berry Mojito. Mojito, one of the other things that was highly requested for drink month. I hope you guys like my take on it. I changed it up a little bit, didn't go with the classic mojito, went with a little bit of a sweeter version. And all the links to merch is now going to be down in the description box below. I'm using Teespring. They're going to be integrated too with YouTube and stuff, so occasionally you may see an ad or something that was woo, get your scrapey t-shirt here on my channel. And without further ado, let's get on into the soap making video. Are ya ready, kids? I can't hear you because I seriously can't. Now, how do we begin the soap making process? If you said mix the lye water solution into the oils, you'd be right. I'm gonna pour it down the stick blender to help avoid air bubbles, supposedly. Now we are going to stick blend the lye water solution and the oils together until they are both a little past emulsification and have entered light trace. gonna be different shades of the same color. We're gonna kind of do an ombre effect. So I'm going to color this entire batch of soap a very dark purple, and then we're gonna gradually lighten it with titanium dioxide. I'm going to add a little bit of really red mica just to kind of help with the shade. I want the shade to lean more red toned than blue toned. I'm also gonna add some Raging Raspberry. This is from TKB Trading. And of course, some Purple Vibrance mica. The Purple Vibrance mica is from Nurture Soap, by the way. Now I'm gonna put my stick blender on top, and I'm gonna try to push this very gently below the surface here, and that's just to keep it all from puffing out of my bucket. And we're gonna blend on low. So this is what our beginning purple color looks like. It's very berryish. Do you see me in the reflection of the soap? And I'm gonna pour off 1 container of this purple. So this will be the darkest color. And we're gonna add the appropriate amount of fragrance oil to it. So the fragrance oil I'm using today is Mojito from Nature's Garden, but I have mixed it with Black Raspberry Vanilla from Nature's Garden, and that's gonna give it the berry smell while still being mainly Mojito. So it's sort of a lime mint, and whenever you mix it all together, it is fantastic. I decided to make it easier on myself by going ahead and splitting up the batch into 4 equal portions. That way, whenever I lighten up the soap, it'll be really easy to see which one needs perhaps a little bit more of the whitener. So I have some titanium dioxide mixed with water, and I'm just gonna add a little bitty bit into each one of the containers. Just about half a teaspoon into 3. Remember, we're gonna keep this one the darkest, so we're not gonna add anything to that. So I can already tell just from that little bit of mixing that half a teaspoon isn't going to be enough, so I'm gonna go ahead and add another half, see what that does for us. And I'm just gonna continue lightening every single one of these containers until the gradient looks the way I want it to. Well, it's really hard for me to get all of these in frame, but there is a noticeable difference between them. So I'm gonna add the fragrance oil now to each one, and then we'll start pouring into our molds. So we'll begin, as specified earlier, by pouring in the darkest color. This looks so good. This looks like an acai bowl. In between layers, I am making sure that I scrapey out my container because we won't be revisiting this color again. Now for the next shade, I'm just gonna use my spatula to sort of ladle it on the top. It's gonna go very slowly to about the middle point, and then I'll switch the direction. That way I don't mess it up. Now for layer number 3, it's just a little bit lighter. I wasn't going for layers that are like extremely distinct. It's just supposed to look like the natural variation that you would have if you had a drink that maybe had fruit or something on the bottom, and how that color would kind of rise to the top if you had a clear liquid carrier. I'll show you guys the picture that I'm using as my inspiration. You'll see what I mean. For this layer, very quickly, I'm gonna sprinkle in a few ice cubes because is it really a mojito without ice cubes? So I have some clear melt and pour that have been mixed up with some super sparkle mica, and I'm just gonna be kind of putting these in randomly. And for the last little bit, which is absurdly thick, this is the consistency I normally use for piping, so I'm definitely going to have to tap these bars down on the ground. Now that that last top layer is in, I'm gonna add a few more ice cubes so that they're kind of going through multiple layers, and then I'm gonna pipe on top of these. I'm not putting as many ice cubes on the top here as I did on the last layer. I've really loved getting to use ice cubes in all of the soaps this month, but they are really time consuming. Now that this is finished, I'm gonna mix up my soap frosting and we'll come back to pipe the tops. With the Royalty Soaps piping set, I am now gonna start to pipe the top of this soap I'm using a open star tip, I think is what this one's called. It is a little bit runny, and let me tell you why. Because the majority of the reason I'm putting this on top is just so that the embeds will stick. Mojitos don't normally have any like whipped cream or anything like that on top. But I also want to make sure that it grabs a hold of those little melt and pour embeds. So the runnier it is, the more likely you are to have a soap that actually sticks to the melt and pour. In other words, a really defined piping is not necessarily what I'm going for today. That's okay. Every single batch is different. My baby is singing in the background. Honestly, this looks like piping on a cake today because of this little like dollop that's being pulled over to the side. It's so cute. I'm gonna come do the same thing over here on this side. Now I'm gonna come back and fill in these little gaps here. I'm not putting as much on as I normally do, and this piping is a lot flatter than normal because I am going to be putting on some really cool embeds, and I want those to have a nice flat surface to sit on instead of like a really tall middle that I have to avoid. So I'm kind of, honestly, I'm kind of piping to the side instead of piping up and down. Kind of got like a little snail trail going on here. The temptation to lick the soap when it looks like this is so great. And then for the final bit, I am adding some on top, but once again, I'm kind of making it like a snail trail. So I'm just filling it in. And so again, you can probably see here, it's more flat on top than it normally is. It's not making a very pointy center. Now that all the piping is done, it's time for the fun part, aka the embeds. Here are the berry embeds I'm gonna be doing today. I have blueberry and blackberry and some raspberries. Not every single soap will have all three of these. Well, everyone will have a blueberry, but not every single one will have a blackberry and a raspberry. It's gonna be a little bit random. I'm gonna start by alternating the blackberries and the raspberries. No, I've put them in the wrong spot. You move over here. Yes, and you move right here. Even though it technically makes no difference at all where I place these, I have to have them evenly spaced. It just, oh, it drives me crazy if it's not done like that. All the berries are like my favorite part of summertime because, oh, no, I've done it again. Because that's when you can get them all at like the supermarket and stuff, and it isn't all ridiculously expensive like it is all year round. I guess it's because we live in Texas. I'm sure there are some places where berries aren't just like so expensive all year round, but it always is over here. Now we're gonna put a little blueberry on there next to them, kind of cozy it up next to the large berry. I'm just picking the side to put it in that's easiest for me to reach. I didn't realize how 4th of July these soaps were gonna end up looking on top. This really does look like all of the desserts that we make over here in the US for Independence Day. Now I'm gonna stick on some little mint leaves that I got from, I got the mold from Amazon. It has like 3 or 4 different types of leaves in there. And I'm just gonna stick them up a little bit on the side. And then of course the final thing I have to add is a sparkly paper straw, and it's green of course because mojito. So I'll just take one out and I'll just stick it right in there. And for most of them I've been putting them on the side a little bit, but I think these I'm gonna put a little more to the top. That way the drink looks like, you know, the straw is in the middle, like my inspiration photo. After putting all the straws in, I added a little bit of biodegradable glitter. And this is what the berry mojito looks like on top. I especially wanted to add the glitter to this soap because I think it really brings out the definition in the berry embeds. I'm mega digging this one, and the smell is amazing. I can't wait to see what the ice cubes look like on the inside too. So I'm gonna let this sit for 18 to 24 hours, and then we will be back to chop them all up after this quick commercial break. And we are back the next day to cut the berry mojito soap. Let me just scoot that right back. Nobody saw nothing. It seriously smells so good. And because there are ice cubes on the inside, I am cutting very slowly. You guys, look at the inside of this bar. It's so cute. I'm gonna put this little soap to the side and then put the inspiration photo next to it so that you guys can see how close we got. I think we did pretty good. Ooh, here's one with lots of visible ice cubes. That is so cool. Every single bar is going to have ice cubes in it. It's just some of them might not make it like where the soap got cut. So it might be that you get to see them after you start using the bar. So it's kind of a fun surprise. Caleb is joining us today for the question of the day.
Question of the day is, would you rather have a cook or a maid?
Ooh. A maid.
You hate cooking now.
I don't hate it.
You hate coming up with recipes.
I do hate with coming up with recipes. That's why Blue Apron is so great, because I don't mind cooking it. I just don't want to come up with what I have to eat. What I really need is a maid and a meal planner. Like a personal grocery assistant or something like that. But definitely the maid. Why? Which one would you pick?
Probably the cook.
You think?
Yeah. I don't have a hard time cleaning up.
Yeah, you don't do the laundry around here anyway.
Neither do you.
That's not entirely accurate, but it's more accurate than I would care to admit. By I don't do the laundry, Caleb really means I put the laundry off so long until nobody has any clothes at all and I go, fine, I'll do the laundry. This looks like a face. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Oh my gosh, that little face in the very last bar there is so funny. It looks like a little angry cartoon person, like, If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave me a comment down below. And like I said before, merch is now live. It's at teespring.com. I'll leave like links to like my little merch shop and stuff down there. So if you would like to get a scrapey t-shirt, you can now. And if that's not your cup of tea, no sweat off my back, boo-boo, you do you. I hope you guys really love the design. Once again, please go follow Parker on all of his social media things. And if you need design work done, he's your dude. This soap will be available on July 6th, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time at royaltysoaps.com. And until next time,